Hey guys, my name is Ryan,
And my name is Miska.
and welcome to Overwatch Central. So Season 2 for Overwatch Ranked is out and a lot of people have started taking the game more seriously again. Discussions about certain characters' viability in the new patch have started popping up, and more people think and discuss the game as a whole. But quite often the fundamentals are ignored or simply forgotten, so we wanted to talk about that and sum up the responsibilities of certain roles, as it feels like a lot of us could do with a quick reminder. This video will hopefully materialise and help you understand how a team should come together on an individual level.
Originally, there are 4 roles in Overwatch. The ones that Blizzard set up and we all know as offense, defense, tank and support. But what they really are and what you should actually mainly play around are the following: DPS/damage, tank and support. These have different responsibilities, something that players should especially keep in mind when playing competitive. Sometimes these responsibilities are very basic as well, but they connect and repeat in a very clever way. These tasks are different depending on your hero, but mostly depending on your role. In Overwatch, it is sometimes very hard to gauge the situation and understand your problems as you are playing. So in this video, we'll try to give you some structure and a bit of a mental to-do list for playing. Hopefully this will also give you a better idea of the gameplay of Overwatch as a whole.
Before we properly get into that though, we want to talk a little bit about the setting, as I'm sure most of you can relate to it. So when in comp, most players tend to concentrate more. This means that they focus more on the game overall, and that they will take the whole match more seriously, sometimes resulting in people getting very upset and emotional about a death, a failed team fight, or even a lost match. Due to how much more tense it can be though, it is sometimes easy to forget about the basics that are so key towards consistency. Recently we've started seeing people get more upset about team compositions as well. Even though there might be other major problems within the team, imagine somebody refusing to switch off a questionable pick. We all know how much energy can go into hopefully making that person switch, and sometimes this can be a major distraction, especially if you're on defense and you're trying to set up. Sure, with a new balance patch out at the same time as a new season, some people decide to go for questionable picks and different lineups which will be presented at the start of a game, and can really start you off on the wrong foot.
Regardless of lineup though, you have responsibilities when playing DPS, tank or support. And this is what I feel is often forgotten due to team comp discussions or similar. We're gonna start off with the basics here and then move on after we're done presenting those. Right, so DPS or damage is an easy one because the responsibility is to do what? Yes, that's right, provide damage, of course, and this can be done in many different ways, but we'll go into that later. Next up we have the tanks, whose responsibility is to absorb, soak and block damage. They have to form the front line of an offense and also structure a defense. Lastly, supports, whose job is to obviously heal and support players on their team so they have an easier time doing their job. Okay, now that we have that down, let's complicate things. When you're playing a certain role, you really need to understand the meaning of that and your goal. Roadhog, for example, isn't just a fat reaper that can go off and flank on his own. When playing Soldier 76, your mercy isn't supposed to be glued to your ass to keep you alive. Let's have a look at this simple list and you'll see what I mean. So this is a very simplified version of what you should be doing as these roles. Whenever you're playing one of these roles and you're doing something that is not in your section of the list, you're probably doing something wrong. It is so common, for example, to see Lucius rush up into a choke point to deal that tiny bit of damage with his tickle gun, rather than just stay back and make sure that as many people as possible are within the buff aura. This is when that same Lucio gets Hanzo spammed or Roadhog hooked and just dies, putting his team at a disadvantage. Anyway, moving on, let's make this even more complicated and let's turn this simple list into a bit of a priority list instead. Right, so what you're looking at here is essentially a rotation and priority list for each role. This is what you should be doing most of the time, with of course situational exceptions. I can't go through every single possible scenario here of course, but I hope this list gives you a better idea of how there are phases that repeat themselves throughout an Overwatch game. Let us know what you think in the comments below and if you agree or disagree with this list. Just to quickly run you through it in case there's something you don't understand. Number 1 is step 1 essentially, 2, 3 and 4 are the other steps, and then after, at the end of this list, you simply just go back to the top and you rinse and repeat. This is pretty much how every Overwatch game should play out. But of course, depending on the skill level and so on, games can be very organized or unorganized. And sometimes both teams are equally unorganized, so it doesn't really matter and it kinda balances it out. But a lot of the time, you'll see the team that is not organized lose, because they start chaining deaths, and the other team starts snowballing and just strolling through the whole map. And I don't imagine anyone here enjoying that and enjoying that loss.
And that's it for this time. Thank you very much for watching. An image download of the priority list will be available in the description in case you want it. If you like this kind of content, then do drop a comment below and let us know, and like this video, and subscribe for more Overwatch content if you haven't already. Until next time, take care, and we'll see you then.